Yeah. But anyway. 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 What I'm going to talk to you guys about is what's called the Philadelphia experiment. And the Philadelphia experiment was believed to have been a series of weird experiments carried out by the U.S. government in the 1950s and 1960s. And apparently some people claim it was real. Some people claim it was tied to what was called the Montauk Project. And honestly, I can understand the Philadelphia experiment being tied to the Montauk Project. But honestly, I don't know. I don't know whether the Philadelphia experiment was ever even tied to the Philadelphia experiment and the Montauk Project were the exact same thing. I've often wondered that myself, because maybe the Philadelphia experiment and the Montauk Project maybe were the exact same thing, carried out around the exact same time. But maybe if the Philadelphia experiment and the Montauk Project were indeed the same thing, I would have known. Because, sometimes you never can tell. But the question remains, if the Montauk Project and the Philadelphia experiment were one and the same thing, why has no one given us any proof of it until now? Question is, where does fiction end and reality begin on the Montauk Project and the Philadelphia experiment? When does fiction, or I should say, when does fiction become reality on the Montauk Project and the Philadelphia experiment? Were the Philadelphia and the experiment and the Montauk Project even reality? So I often wonder whether the Montauk Project and the Philadelphia experiment I often wonder whether the Montauk Project and the Philadelphia experiment even took place. So, having said that, it often makes me wonder whether the U.S. government and governments around the world are conducting identical time slip experiments to this day.